Can I roam? Is this possible? Yep. Hello? No? Hi, guys. Hello. Oh, beautiful. Thanks. I can't talk without my feet, so apologies. Hey, what a great honor it is to be here with you all today and to share the stage with some really compelling speakers, particularly Jazz and Thomas. I'm really impressed by that. I managed to get out of class today, so nicely done. Huge admiration for that. My name is Tim. I work with the ChristchurchNZ crew on economic development and city profile. Before you ask, it's a Canadian accent, but I wanted to start, sweet. I wanted to also just let you know that I got this Canadian accent because I am the son of two incredibly intrepid explorers, born and raised here in the South Island, went overseas for their OE, ended up living in 5 different countries, raising 3 children before retiring back here. I think it's intrinsic in who we are. And today I wanted to share just some of my thoughts on exploration and the incredible opportunity we have as a city moving forward.
People provide the character and the image of us. All open, Christian, ours, is founded on the spirit of exploration. It is embedded in our city's DNA. Our history has been shaped by it. Our present is built from it, and our future will be created by it. Christchurch has always been about new beginnings, explorers, innovators, and people doing things differently. Our people are explorers, challenging the status quo, exploring ideas of impact and shaping our future. Our city is creative, organic, and evolving. It is a place to grow, connect, and find values. Explore our past, our present, and our future. Explore all done by Christchurch.
I can see your goosebumps from here. So I wanted also to mention that Amy specifically asked me not to show video or show any pictures, and so this is a video and picture full presentation. Apologies, Amy. I do greatly appreciate the invitation, though. Thank you for having me. And I've also become quite notorious for doing last-minute changes on my bus ride in the morning, so I just wanted to read this quick quote to get started. On the bus, I found this morning. This is from Neil deGrasse Tyson, a great, famous astrophysicist. He said, "Kids should be allowed to break stuff more often. That's a consequence of exploration. Exploration is what you do when you don't know what you're doing. That's what scientists do every day." I just love that. And I'm excited to break things with you here in the city while respecting our past. And so as we move forward, I wanted to explain a couple of my perceptions of this opportunity and just, I guess, point out as we look to go global with Christchurch, as we look to, spread the word that we're open for business, we really feel like we need to own our distinctiveness, own what it is that is unique about our town. And we fundamentally believe that exploration is at the heart of it. A city of opportunity with exploration really at the core of delivering results. Some key points that came out in that video: we celebrate and embrace our city's history of exploration from Ngaitahu settlers to early explorers. And certainly Christchurch has always been about new beginnings. Our people are explorers, challenging the status quo, exploring ideas with impact, and helping shape a better future. That's who you are. That's who we are as a city. So we put a bunch of really good work together over the last 18 months or so, many people working diligently before I got to arrive at ChristchurchNZ, working on the city narrative. And then Hila showed up. 2 weeks ago, we sat down and showed Hila some of the work that we had done. And while she was certainly respectful and I think validating, she also questioned in a really intense way what we're doing. One of the key inspirations that came from Hila was the power of imagery. And she really hammered that home for us, and she also pointed out we cannot chart our future without respecting and owning our past. And so one of the things I thought I could do today is just share with you some of the pictures that stand out to me as incredibly distinctive and remarkably, unique about our town. Those that came before us. Certainly, the story here begins with the Maori people, arguably the greatest explorers in human history. That story is very, very unique here in Christchurch with the Ngaitahu story. And Hakupa Te Atau too is an incredible proof point of this. If you haven't read this man's story, I highly recommend that you do so. Not only a renowned elder in the Ngaitahu community, certainly also known for being an incredible warrior and also a Pounamu craftsman. I've really enjoyed diving into his story, and I feel like I'm only just scratching the surface. Certainly also, you cannot talk about exploration without referring to the first 4 ships. I often like to, at this point, reference my grandmother who hopped on a boat in 1938 with the hope of new opportunities on the other side of the planet. Certainly, this was well before 1938. 1850, in fact. And imagine, in September of 1850, boarding a boat to go to the other side of the planet, a 3-month harrowing journey in the oceans, in the hopes of arriving in a new place full of new opportunities. Those are the people that began the work with the early Ngaitahu settlers to create the town that we live in today. I point out Charlotte Jane here because actually some of you may not know of the 4 boats. Charlotte Jane was the first to arrive on the shores on December 16th. I love picturing that in my mind, and I also love picturing that every time I'm walking through Lyttelton. The other thing that stands out to me about Lyttelton Port, most certainly, is a true hero of mine and of many others, including Hila, is Ernest Shackleton. So Shackleton called Lyttelton and Christchurch home on 5 separate occasions, in fact leading 3 of some of the greatest explorations to the Antarctic known, including obviously his famed trans-Antarctic expedition that ended in disaster, yet somehow exploration, the spirit of exploration, I guess, led to the survival of all the crewmen. One of my favorite components, obviously, of that is Shackleton's most trusted captain that made it all possible, Frank Worsley, from Akaroa. So yeah, it's very, very, very central to who we are. And I think as you dive into these folks' stories, you'll understand this is a differentiation for our town. Stretching the concept of exploration, obviously Ernest Rutherford, intellectual exploration, the father the father of physics, right? So nuclear physics. There's so much more in the Ernest Rutherford story that is worth spending some time. And if you haven't been over to the Den, I highly recommend spending the day there. But again, a unique story here in Christchurch. One of the important points of having a central narrative that we can all galvanize around is this point. I often call out that I was recently on a tram ride with my daughter who thinks the tram is the space shuttle. And we were really enjoying our trip around town, and we passed right past the art center. And there was no mention from our tour guide of Rutherford and the incredible work that he achieved. So naturally, that's my next stop, is to head over to the tram and talk to the guys over there about the narrative. I guess one other key story that always stands out to me, probably the most compelling on a global stage, is absolutely Kate Shepherd. So Leanne has already commented on the 125th anniversary, which I think is a remarkable moment in time for us all to stop and celebrate. Really, the momentous amount of work and community uprising that was required to make this achievement, this universal suffrage achievement that started right here in Christchurch. And then lastly, I wanted to call out another really cool image that I can't let go of, the powerful and charismatic Larry Ross. So oftentimes people say, well, those are all really good images, and that was a long time ago. Well, Larry wasn't that long ago. Many of you may not know, but Larry was a Canadian immigrant who moved right here to Christchurch and began the anti-nuclear weapon movement right here in Christchurch. Something that New Zealand is famous for globally. Again, birth in our city. So, incredible heritage to stand on. And when you think about a city's profile, there aren't many cities around the world that can claim the city of exploration the way that we can. That spirit is alive today. Certainly in some of our key assets, often largely not discussed because of a fire that delayed some starts. Ultimately, this is one of the most compelling adventure assets on the planet. This is the only dedicated mountain biking park open 365 days a year. Incredible opportunity to differentiate our city. The boat sheds. When I was a kid, there was a beautiful watercolor painting of the boat sheds above my parents' bed. I always thought it was quite funny and super old. But to see it alive today with children paddling kayaks and a bustling tip-top ice cream parlor, it really makes me feel like the heart of the city is alive and well. This boat shed has been open since 1882 and is an incredible source of pride for the people of Christchurch. You can't talk about exploration without talking about education. I wanted to call out the University of Canterbury, one of the most incredible places to walk around and have chats with people. Often you'd be really surprised how open people are and willing to talk about what they're studying. My last time over at the University of Canterbury was just last week with one of my colleagues, Richard, and we got the opportunity to tour the HIT Lab, Human Interface Technology, seeing absolute world-class technology in augmented reality and virtual reality happening right here. There are only 2 or 3 labs of its kind in the world, and in that realm of research, everybody is hankering for the opportunity to step foot at the HIT Lab in Christchurch. Pretty exciting. Now, what's exploration without a harrowing tale of Antarctica? So we've already mentioned, obviously, Lyttelton Harbour, but interestingly, also coming up in the next couple of weeks is the season opening. So thousands and thousands of scientists come through Christchurch every year for the opportunity to fulfill their life's mission in their research down on the ice. They start here and they finish here. That's pretty compelling. Why don't we tell their story? Why don't they have us? Why don't we have them tell our story? The opportunities are endless. And then lastly, I wanted to call out, obviously, this one. I'm not allowed to use this photo, but this is Cora from Zephyr Airworks. Some of you may or may not know about this, but it's super compelling technology. This is a flying taxi. This is the future of transport. Tested right here on the Canterbury Plains here in Christchurch. An incredible honor for our city, and certainly a massive opportunity as we move forward. So that's us. That's Christchurch. Just on the weekend, I was actually at this very spot with my daughter because it's in our backyard. That's how unique of a city we are. Exploration, as we keep saying, is a part of who we are. Our city was founded on it. Our history will be built on it. And our future will be created by it. So again, it's an incredible opportunity to be here to help share this message. I hope that by using some of these images, we're able to sear these memories in your mind. Oftentimes, an image can speak volumes. And as Neil deGrasse Tyson said, breaking things is a consequence of exploration. So as we charge forward and put forward incredibly new ideas for the future of this city, I challenge you to consider breaking some things as we do it. Thanks very much.